Okay, this is a bit of a rant video, but again, as a realtor, I'm having people who have their houses listed with other agents calling me and sending me emails and saying, I'm locked into this contract until X date. My agent is not doing anything. My house is not selling. Can you just help me figure out what is wrong, why my house isn't selling, yada, yada. And so, maybe a typical agent would say, well, this is something you're going to have to take up with your agent. They're going to have to do a better job. Whereas I take it to heart because one realtor makes it, I don't even know what I'm trying to say here. One realtor makes all realtors look bad. So everybody, just because this one realtor doesn't do a good job, now they think that all realtors are like that. So I'm going to take accountability and say, I'm going to audit their listing. And that's what I have done. And there's been 2 instances in the last week where I'm like, why? First of all, what's sold you on this agent? And one of them I haven't had an actual conversation with. Tomorrow, we're having that conversation about her listing. And I literally just brought her listing up and started making notes. So my first comment is, why is commission 1.5%? First of all, standard is 2.5%. So that's 1% less than normal. To me, that doesn't necessarily matter, but for other realtors, they may totally skip over that and be like, why would I get paid, nearly half of what I would normally get paid? Why would I show this property? I'm not going to do that. Second thing I noted was the price. It's probably overpriced. Now, I haven't looked up all the comps yet, so that's got a bit of a question mark beside it. My other notes say there's no attachments, there's no additional information, there's literally just bare bones basics, and this does not sell a house. And then my notes say photos, they're not professional, there's no floor plans, there's no drone photos. The presentation of the home in the photos that are up online need to be better. There's just little tweaks that it's like, should have removed that before you took the picture, should have moved that before you took the picture. These, what may seem small things, make a big difference. And first of all, price of your home, that is the biggest thing. That's going to draw people in. But at the same token, if the photos don't do the house justice, some people may not even consider it because it's like, oh, that doesn't look very nice. Or, I don't really understand the layout of the house. There's no floor plans. Maybe there's no drone footage of the lot itself. There are a lot of things that you need to take into consideration for your listing. And when you're sitting down picking a realtor, you need to ask these questions like, what are you going to do for me? How are you going to present my home to the public? How are you going to sell my home? Who are you trying to sell my home to? Like, what demographic? Who, is it a small family? Is it a downsizer? Is it a growing family? There are so many things that need to be considered. And I always say the list ready process is the most important step to listing your house. And all of that happens before you list your house. And then once you have all of that information, including, but not limited to, utility costs, taxes, well, you need your taxes to list the property, but what do your utilities costs? Hydro, gas, propane, whatever that you have as an additional bill, why not just get that stuff now so that people know, that buyers know, and they don't have to ask you 1,001 questions when they're considering your property, because you give them everything that they need. Now, in fairness, realtor.ca doesn't necessarily allow you to give out all of that information. But if you're a realtor who does things a little bit differently, like me, I do a digital listing experience for my clients. And if you go to forsalewithme.ca, you will see how I digitally present my listings. This is a place that's, in my opinion, better than realtor.ca because it gives you all of the information, everything that you possibly need to know, whether that's surveys, hydro bills, utility bills, all of this stuff. You need to have that available to the buyer so that they can make an informed decision, and they're not going to look at your property and then going, well, the utilities are too much money, you know, we won't be able to run the house every month with what everything costs. Well, had they known that ahead of time, they wouldn't have wasted your time coming to see the property and wasted their own time coming to see the property. It's important to gather this information up front and present it to them. Now, when a lot of agents will run these types of like information to the listing, but it's like a lead funnel where it's like, you must give me your information before I give you this information on this house. That is not how I do business. That is not how I market my properties. I get tens of thousands of eyeballs on my properties because I run proper ads, I run proper marketing, and I don't do it with lead generation in the background. It is literally like, here's the information you need. I don't need your information for me to give you that information. I'm not going to withhold it if you don't give me your information. Buyers appreciate that. And I know I get annoyed when it's like, I just want the information. I don't want to give you my arm and my leg so that you can finally just give me what I'm looking for. How about you just give me what information I need? So that's what I do with my listings, and I think that's the right way to do business. I don't think you necessarily have to do lead gen to give people the information on a listing. So the one conversation that I had with the other buyer earlier this week, I was like, you need to tell your realtor to get pictures of your land uploaded, whether that's a Google Earth screenshot, something, literally a vacant land image does not do your property that you're trying to sell any justice. And he's like, oh yeah, she says that, you know, the pictures have been taken, the photographer's just not getting them back to her in time. I'm thinking, this is costing you money. Like, even though you may not be, as a seller, paying for that service, maybe you are, maybe you aren't, this is costing you. And I'm like, the pictures of your listing, because he has 2 listings, the pictures on your listing are literally from a cell phone. Like, they are cell phone pictures. Like, what on earth? How do realtors think that this is okay? Let's just walk through the house with my brand new iPhone and this is sufficient. No, it's not. You are professional. You ought to have professional photos done of each listing that you have. Not to mention, floor plans are a very good idea. And drone photos, if that's, you know, an option. You've got to go all out for your listings, people. Like, you've got to invest in your clients. And one of these particular listings is a discount listing, the 1.5%. Well, of course they're going to do nothing for you. They don't even want to negotiate their own commission. There is a reason why I charge what I charge. I don't charge above standard. I charge the standard, but I charge that for a reason, because my listings sell. They sell for over ask or nearly asking. I'm not pricing my properties far east or far west. It's right in the middle where they need to be. And you have to have the proper marketing strategy, and you have to have a plan. And if these agents are just like, yeah, I'm a discount agent, yeah, I'll sell it for we'll sell it for a 1.5%, or whatever, and I'm just going to sit back and let the market do its thing. Well, that's not going to sell your house. The amount of money that you're saving in the commission is probably something that you're paying in the delay in the sale of your house. So you have to look at all the aspects, and I know I'm kind of talking to realtors and I'm kind of talking to sellers here, but it's so important to just do your job properly as a realtor. Take pride in what you're doing. I'm trying to keep you accountable as a realtor in doing a good job. And if you are a seller and you are in this position where your home is not selling, and even when you look at the photos, you're like, yeah, they're not really that great, or, you know, the house doesn't really look as good as it really is in real life. You need to keep your agent accountable, and you need to make sure that they're gathering all the information from you up front. They're getting professional photos done, all that jazz. You need to make sure, like, this is probably one of the biggest investments that you have. Why are you trying to get somebody to represent it at a discount? Pay the full commission and get a full-time realtor who does good work. And your property, you won't be sitting here wondering, well, I guess we'll just have to see what's going on with the market, or, there's a problem with the market, or maybe there's a problem with your agent and how they're marketing your listing. Because 9 times out of 10, every property, for the most part, is sellable. It just has to be priced right and marketed properly. And if those things don't happen, you are not going to sell your property. Simple. So anyways, that's my almost 11-minute rant. Just do your job as a realtor, and sellers, do your due diligence in picking the right realtor when you're listing your house. You have to get somebody who's good at their job and who is willing to invest in your property so that they can help you get the most out of your property and get it sold. That is the whole idea. That is the whole point. Get your house sold for top dollar. Don't leave any money on the table, but also don't shortchange on the realtor that you get, because discount realtors are not going to do the same job as full-time, full-price realtors. End of rant.